Yeah, let's do that.
Sweet. So, unlike some of the school presentations, this shouldn't be too boring. This is going to be very exciting. Teaching you guys some things that you guys can do with your DPT degree and tell you how I ended up where I am today and some of the things that I did in physical therapy school to align me to be able to open up my physical therapy clinic as a new grad. Before I get started, by show of hands, like what age, like what are we at? PT ones, PT twos, PT threes?
We'll have a little bit of everybody here this
Okay,
evening, but I think it's mostly first and second years.
okay, perfect. That's perfect timing. All right, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Awesome. So, first of all, my name is Dr. Odell Miller, and I own a clinic called Off the Bench, if you guys aren't aware. And what I did was open up a physical therapy school open up a clinic as a new grad out of physical therapy school. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did that and how all of you can too, if that's what you wish to do. Or if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to learn how you can bring value to your employers as well to earn more money. So a big thing in the PT space is the taboo topic is money, right? You guys, they probably don't talk about money in school a lot, do they? It's like taboo. But I don't understand why it's taboo. So we're going to talk about some money as well. And I'm actually doing some collaborations with the APTA at the conference in a couple of days. So I'll be asking one of their managing directors some hard questions about like the reality of what they're doing for the PT profession as far as like reimbursement and all that stuff too, which is really cool. Sweet. So outline. So what I'm going to do is talk about the reality of the PT profession, and then why branding and marketing yourself is super important and what that means, and then like what is a personal brand, and then I'll show you guys a little bit about personal brand as well, and then how can you start, and then reasons for like lack of growth in the profession because a lot of people get stuck. That's like one of the issues right now is like people get stuck in the profession where there's no more growth that can be had. But guess what, guys? There's always growth that can be had, and then we'll do a little Q&A as well. Sweet. So the reality of the PT profession. Some of this you guys might already know, but the ROI of the degree is starting to decrease. So decrease in reimbursement and then increase in tuition. So we're having like a little bit of a inverse effect in the profession. The new grads' salary are continuing to decrease as well. So we're in like double trouble. Reimbursements going down, tuition's increasing. The new grad salaries are going down because they think that you are replaceable. And then 68% of PTs are burned out currently. This isn't like my stats. This is from the APTA. You see a little citation at the bottom? See? I remember we had to cite. I probably did that incorrectly. But I cited at the bottom. That's from the APTA website. And the average burnout rate is 5 years. And I'm not doing this to scare you guys. I'm just allowing you guys to see the reality of the profession. So you actually listen to what I'm going to tell you throughout this presentation as well. And I knew there had to be another way. Like I was in physical therapy school and I was that guy in the front row, like asking all the hard questions, like raising my hand, like, okay, so you get paid to see the patient, but then you have to document for every patient. You're seeing 14 patients for the day. When do you document? And they're like, oh, you have to do that on your own time. How many hours extra do you have to do? Oh, I'll have to do like 8 hours extra a week. I'm like, but you're not getting paid for that. I was like, okay, that's not the path that I want to do. People were burned out. People wanted to come be professors because they were burned out. I asked those questions as well, like, hey, Mr., Mrs., Dr. Professor, like, why did you choose to become a professor? Like, tell me the real. Tell me why you did that. Like I said earlier, a lack of mobility in the profession or burnout or not as much pay. So I knew there had to be another way. So what are the positives of the DPT degree? The DPT degree is awesome. I think it's the best degree in the world. Obviously, I have it. The ROI is beyond valuable and limitless. As long as you are building what I'm going to talk to you guys about today, which is your personal brand, there's a fancy new strategy. And so like why is branding yourself and like marketing yourself important? And what does that actually mean? Shouldn't like your credentials of having your doctorate, fancy title in front of your name be enough? The reality is it's not. You can be the best physical therapist in the world, but if people don't know who you are, if they don't know who you are and know how to find you, you can't help anyone, right? So you can't help those who don't know who you are. And everyone, including your patients, whether you're going to open your own business or work for someone, they need to know, like, and trust you. Those are the three important things that you need to do to brand and market yourself. And then I always ask this question when I'm speaking to schools and stuff. By a show of hands, how many of you think like you will? Let me stop sharing my screen for this. How many of you will go by doctor? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Some of you are like, I don't want to tell. You're not. Why? Why is that? Because you don't want to step on the toes of like physicians or something. See, we have a
Kind of like, I was gonna say, I feel like you kind of feel like an outcast if you go by doctor, just because our profession typically doesn't.
yeah. So see what I mean? We have an identity crisis within our own profession, and we need like all hands on deck. So I know if you're working in a hospital, like don't call yourself doctor. That's going to confuse the patients between the physician and you as a doctor of physical therapy. Why should we limit ourselves in our degree because to not step on the toes or make someone else feel insecure about theirs? Like ask yourself that. Why should we do that? And I always ask people this, like, would you rather pay Odell Miller more or would you rather pay Dr. Odell Miller more? Would you trust Odell Miller more or would you trust Dr. Odell Miller more? Does my NFL athletes trust Odell Miller or do they trust Dr. Odell Miller? That doctor holds weight, big weight, so don't ever let anyone limit you from using that because they don't want you to make them feel insecure about their degree, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So I challenge all of you to join this good fight and definitely call yourself doctor when you graduate because you earned it. Like you literally earned it. In what other way would you go into society and not call yourself doctor just because a physician doesn't want you to and you're in the medical field? Call yourselves doctor. I guarantee you, you will have a greater income. You will make more money doing so. And the reality is like we keep trying to do the same thing and expect a different result in the profession. We're going to keep getting the same result, which is decreased reimbursement rates. You think insurance companies aren't looking at us and be like, oh, we're going to pay them less money. They're not doctors. We're going to pay physicians more. So if we don't look at ourselves as doctors, how do we expect insurance to do so? How do we expect other people? How do we expect patients to take us serious? One of the biggest things that I hated, and I'll never forget, in my physical therapy rotation, when I was doing one of my rotations, one of the patients asked, like, they're like, oh, what, like, are you like training right now? Is this like are you like a certificate? Did you get like a certificate for physical therapy? I was like, what? Is this like a certification? No, like we literally are doctors. We have our doctor. We've been in school for 7, 8 years. Residency, if you go residency route, more. Patients, society, insurance, they have zero idea what we do. So it's up to us to tell them what we do. No one's going to come and save us. So we have to save ourselves and definitely tell everybody what we do as physical therapists and why we are doctors. Does that make sense? Can you guys tell that I'm passionate about that? It's so important. If you break that ceiling in your mind of like wanting to limit yourself because you don't want to step on the toes, I guarantee you'll make more money, especially if you open your own business. Even so much so when I was in school, I used to call myself student doctor Odell Miller. That's how I built my business to $12.4K a month in physical therapy school. When I was sitting in your guys' seat, I was making $12,000 a month online. Call myself student doctor Odell Miller. All of you, which I'll talk about in a second, you know like 99% more than anyone in society. So already the fact that you're in physical therapy school, you know so much information that you can help other people in their fitness, in their exercise, in their nutrition. So important. So like why is branding yourself and marketing yourself important? Like I said, the possibilities of having a brand is endless. So you have limitless income. There's no cap to income that I can make. Like I told you guys, some people won't even believe me that I made $12,000 a month in physical therapy school. They won't. You have limitless income. That's more than a lot of professors are making. If you simply learn how to brand and market yourself, limitless impact. I'm able to impact so many people, not only through my patients, but guess what? I'm speaking to you guys today. How did you guys find me? Social media, building my brand, marketing myself. I talk to a lot of schools. I have a mentorship group, which you guys see below as well. There's 3,000 people who opted in to get in. That's all through branding and marketing yourself. So you can have limitless impact, more than money itself, which is attention we'll get to in a second. And then you have limitless freedom. Like I'm traveling this week and the clinic will still be running in my absence. I went to Punta Cana a couple weeks ago. We traveled a lot, went to Vegas, went to Miami, and still the business is able to go. And I'm able to have freedom because of how I set the business up. And the reality is, as a physical therapist, you don't have that freedom if you're not building your brand and marketing yourself. And then limitless growth. Like I said, a lot of people feel stuck in the profession because they feel like they're hitting their head on something, like they can't grow any farther. But you can grow as far as you decide to. And then, honestly, everyone has an opinion. You guys all have opinions on what the profession should do, what the insurance, what employers should pay, how many patients we should see, what exercises you should do. You shouldn't do that exercise. You should never do manual. You should only do exercise. You should never do exercise. You should only do manual. everyone has an opinion, right? But what good does your opinion do if it lands on deaf ears? Like, if no one in the world is hearing your opinion, then it's just complaining at this point. You know what I mean? So, like, having an audience to be able to put your opinion out there is so, so important. And then now you can actually make moves instead of complaining to your friends, which I know some of you probably know of that friend that's always complaining about something. So instead of complaining to your friends, you can put it out in society and allow people to hear it and hear your voice. And you have a voice when you have a brand and marketing yourself. What is a personal brand? You keep hearing me saying brand. It's a fancy word for reputation. All of you have a personal brand, every single one of you. So whenever your professor thinks about your name in class, or one of your classmates think about your name, a certain something comes up. Like, they think about you in a certain way. Like, oh, that person's always on time. Oh, that person always fails. Oh, that person is a straight A student. Oh, that person is very respectful. Oh, that person is super organized. You all have a brand, whether you think so or not. It's just a fancy word for reputation. And then if we're all going to have a brand, no matter if you like it or not, why not decide what it is? Why not curate your brand to portray yourself in the way that you want to, right? Like, you're going to have one either way. So you might as well portray yourself in the way that you want to be perceived. And then the byproducts of a personal brand, similar to what I said before, increased influence. You have influence to not only people like your friends and people like in your immediate like area, but also around the world. And then you can make a living forever. I always tell people, like, attention is the greatest asset, not money. They can start trading whatever they want tomorrow. Bitcoin can be the new thing. They can start trading gold again. They can start trading whatever. But if you have the attention, you can monetize that attention for the rest of your life. So, so important. And then you can inspire others. Like, that's what I love using my platform for as well. That's why I'm speaking to you guys. Like, I want to inspire you. I just want one of you to take action today on building your personal brand and realizing that you don't have to do a traditional way in physical therapy, which is graduate, go work for someone for 3 years to gain experience, be not treated, not get the mentorship that you want. But you can actually open your own clinic as a new grad. You can actually go be very valuable to wherever you decide to work and increase your income ceiling. You can actually do that the second that you decide to. And then with your personal brand too, there's no rules. Like, you can brand yourself however you would like to. Obviously, you want to have a good brand because you want people to come see you. But, like, if you want to wear scrubs in the clinic, if you want to wear sweatpants, if you want to wear short shorts, if you want to wear whatever you want, you can brand yourself the way you want to with your personal brand, and you're the boss of that. My personal brand, I'm not sure how many of you follow me. You can also follow me below at the bottom left corner at Odell Miller 25, and you can see more of myself, but this is some of it. Like, yesterday, I had 3 guys that I work with in the Super Bowl. 2 on the Chiefs, 1 on the Eagles. And I work with them in physical therapy school as well because of my personal brand. That's how important it is. You can scan this as well. I'll give you a second. I forgot to add that in there. But you can also just type in at Odell Miller 25 on Instagram if you're not following me already. And then in the clinic, we do little cool videos. He wasn't in the Super Bowl. He's another one of my NFL athletes. He got drafted 2nd round to the Cowboys. All through branding myself, creating videos. That's it. Branding yourself. Who do my NFL athletes want to work with? Odell Miller or Dr. Odell Miller?
What up, everybody? This is DS with the Seattle Seahawks. Just got some work in with Doc OD. Worked on my knee that I've been dealing with. Just did some recovery work and some.
Yeah, no.
But you guys get the gist.
Hi, my name is Dean, and I'm here with Dr. Abby and Dr. OD.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Chantel. I've been with...
But that's how it works. She's actually a PT student. She used to be one of my clients on my virtual program, and now she works with me on my team. Then we do a lot of education. We do all this kind of cool stuff. So currently, my team, I have, or my business services, we have a virtual one-on-one workout nutrition program, which is the program that I did in physical therapy school to earn $12.4K a month. That was that program. So all of you can start that right now if you wanted to. And I actually named it Off the Bench because I knew that I was going to open my clinic as a new grad. So then I just transitioned having that app into my business as well. So I did this, which all of you can do. And like literally, you make more money than you will going to work for someone. Like there was never going to be a point where I went to go work for someone because I knew we had this. So you guys can as well. And then we obviously do physical therapy services as well. We really work with a lot of shoulder patients. And then we do sports performance program. And then I have the physical therapy community as well, which started by just me posting stuff. And then so many physical therapists, like some of you, followed me and messaged me and was like, hey, do you have any mentorship? Like, I want to do what you did. I want to build what you built. So I created that community to where that's what we do. So if you deem me that word too, mentorship, I'll send you that community. And then my current team, I have a head VA, I have a Legion VA virtual assistant. They work in my DMs, they work and do a lot of, they save my life. That's what they do. Personal assistant who checks my emails, set this call up, works with like communicating with patients, all that type of stuff. It's helping me with my calendar. And then virtual app shadow coach, that's Chantel, the one that you guys just saw, who's a PT student as well, that used to be one of my clients. Have a videographer, VA editing team, and then a full-time PT as well that works with me. So how do you start? Like, how did I start? So literally, first of all, is living what you preach and showing it. Like, we're all DPTs. We're all, like, we're movement specialists. So we have to foundationally do what we preach. And that's going to alone make people interested in what you have. They're going to literally message you and say, man, like, how did you get that? How did you do what you did? I just watched you transform in front of my eyes. Like, what did you do? And that's how you can have a service, living what you preach. And then giving values to others using your knowledge. We all have so much knowledge. You all have, not, like I said earlier, 99% more than what the average person in society knows. Use that knowledge to monetize it. And then networking, branding by association. You see me talking about all my NFL athletes, brand by association. Who are you with? People you're working with, people you're associated with, like your classmates. Brand by association. Get in the right room that you want to be in and associated with. Very, very important. It'll elevate your brand so fast. And then people need to know who you are. Money and impact follows attention. At the end of the day, money and impact follows attention. Whoever has the most attention can make the most impact. You can be the best physical therapist. You can graduate first in your class. But if no one knows who you are, how are you going to impact them? You can be the best in the class. You can't earn a greater salary or more business revenue if people don't know who you are. So you must have the attention. Super, super important. And all of you probably know, I know people who aren't such good physical therapists, but they're crushing it. Because our patients actually don't care about the same stuff that we care about. A lot of people are focused on trying to appease other physical therapists and sound smart in their media and not use these words and talk all prolifically and all this. Patients don't care about that stuff. Like, they do not care about that stuff. So we need to meet patients where they are so then they know who you are and then you can impact them as well. And they pay you for the value, not your time. So some easy practical ways to start. You can take a picture of this or whatever. Post on social media. It's free. Free. It's the only way you have access to 8 billion people. Like, isn't that crazy? You have access to 8 billion people on your phone for free. Why would you not post? It's because you care about what your neighbor says. You care about your classmate. You care about what your friends back home are saying. You care about what your sibling or your parents or your family's going to say about you posting. I guarantee you, once you start posting, you see the impact that you can have online and the revenue that you can generate. You wouldn't care. You would not care about what those people are saying. And let me tell you a secret. After you do that, those same people are going to come ask you how you did it. Same people that were hating on you is going to come and ask you how you did it. So don't not post because you're afraid of what other people will think. You can position yourself and brand yourself the way you want. Like I said earlier and alluded to, you can position yourself on social media the way you want to. You can be the funny physical therapist. You can be the jokester. You can be the serious one. You can be the research-backed or the scientific-based. You can be the one that debunks myths. You can do memes. You can do whatever you want on social media. Just be yourself and post. I guarantee you there's people out there that will resonate with it and want to learn more from you. And then you can monetize your knowledge forever. Like I said, attention is the greatest asset. And then you use it to connect with others. Build your brand. That's how I built my businesses. And I have a lot of friends online as well that are crushing it, that I've never seen in person, but we learn from one another. So use that to find your people as well. Then easy ways to start. Vlog, film your day. Like, look at my camera. I'm vlogging and filming right now. I'm always vlogging and filming myself. It sounds weird, but I'm always shooting myself. And then my team cuts it up and edit it. And that's literally what you do. Just vlog and film your day, what you're naturally doing. Going to the gym, what you eat, all that type of stuff. And then showing what you're doing as far as studying. That's how I started to grow a big following, is like literally showing myself studying. It's like all of you are doing that, studying and all that stuff. So why not start to grow attention from it and start to build your brain that way? And then tell people, hey, I'll be a DPT in 3 years. Don't you think there's going to be a lot of people back home or wherever you want to open up at that'll be just waiting for you to graduate and be ready to work with you because they known what you were doing for the last 3 years? Don't wait until you're done to try to do that. Do it like now so they know exactly. And then film your workouts as well. That's an easy way to do it. All of you are going to the gym. All of you are working out. So like film your workouts. And then show what you're eating. Super, super basic. And then the reality is like a lack of growth in the profession, in your business is due to like a lack of organizational skills. Like if you're going to do your own brand, you're going to own your own business, you have to be organized. And guess what? You can all start right now with the little things. If you can handle the little, then you can be given much. If you can't handle the little, you can't handle much. So you will never be given much. Does that make sense? So all the little things that you're doing in school right now with all of your grades, all of your homework, start to organize yourself so that you can carry those qualities and those traits over to other areas when you have your business as well. And then accountability and self-discipline. When you're your boss, like when you're your own boss, you have no one like looking over your shoulder, holding you accountable, or making sure that you're disciplined, telling you what time to be at work, telling you what hours you should operate, telling you what work to do. At the end of the day, you have to be accountable and very disciplined to yourself when you work for yourself. And then the cool thing is you get to be creative. So a lack of creativity will lack your growth or limit your growth as far as like you're trying to do what everybody else is doing. Like each of you are very unique in who you are as a person. Show that to the world. It does not have to be the same as me. It doesn't have to be the same as anyone else. And then also mentorship. So mentorship is like the number one thing that I can highly suggest all of you do. Whether you're joining my mentorship group, which you DM me on Instagram right now, mentorship, or someone else's group. It doesn't have to be mine, but I highly advise you to find mentors. And mentors just doesn't have to be in like paid. It can be in reading books. It can be in consuming content. I read a lot of books and I learned a lot of information from that. It can be one of your professors that you know. It can be someone in your local town. It can be somebody outside the profession. I have mentors that are outside the profession and it helps me look at the profession in a different way. Super, super important. Find mentors. Get mentorship. And if you need help finding a mentor, DM me. Say, hey, I'm looking to do pediatric. I'm looking to do neuro. I'm looking to do geriatrics. Do you have anyone that you know or a friend on social media that you can send me their profile? And if I do, I'll send it to you. And then you can build a team to help you. Like, as you just saw, like I have a team of like, 6, 7 that helps me like stay on track and get things done. Like build a team. If you're able to do what you're looking to do alone, then you're just not dreaming big enough. Like if you're able to do what you're doing alone, you're not dreaming big enough. You should not be able to do it alone. And then honestly, like you have to be vulnerable and open for criticism and failing publicly. Like you have to be vulnerable to be on social media. You have to be vulnerable to build your brand. You have to be vulnerable to tell people that you're starting a business. It's vulnerable. You have to be open to criticism. Other PTs are going to try to critique how you treat and all this type of stuff. You may fail once or twice. But as long as you don't give up, you'll never be a failure. You might have failing, which is growth, but you'll never be a failure, which is quitting. So I guarantee if you get vulnerable and start, you will not regret it. And those same people that were hating on you at the beginning or the people that you're scared are going to say something, they will be asking you how you did it actually. Hey, pardon this interruption. It's Dr. OD here. First of all, thanks for watching this video. Second of all, I have an exclusive offer for you. I just launched a new community for physical therapists, healthcare professionals, chiropractors, to where I'm literally teaching people exactly how I was able to open a physical therapy clinic right out of school and earn $40K a month, 6 months out of school. Then also, while I was in physical therapy school, I was able to earn $12.4K a month in school. So guess what? I'm teaching that exact thing in our new community. So make sure you're in the community. Go ahead and click the link below. I got something special for you. Go ahead and join so you and I can get to know each other and hop on the next call. Back to the regular paid. It's actually not paid. You guys, you're getting the information for free. Back to the regularly scheduled program. Let's go. You can hop in right there. I'm going to go to the next slide. So next, what I want to do, if that's okay for you guys, what time is it? 6:30, perfect timing. I would love to open up for a Q&A for like 10 to 15 minutes if that's okay as well. And let me tell you guys, there are no closed questions. Like ask me the hard questions, ask me whatever you want. I'm an open book. So hope you guys enjoyed that as well. And like I said, please, if you get an opportunity, once I stop sharing my screen, take a photo of the screen, take a video and tag me on social media, Instagram as well. And I will repost you. I appreciate you guys for having me. I would love to do some Q&A if you guys have time.
I wanted to ask you, what do you feel like was the hardest part about starting your social media platform? Like, I feel like, so we're in a really small town, and I feel like that can be really daunting. So I was just curious, what made you start social media?
Yeah, I'm in a small town as well. So I'll debunk that. Like everyone says, like it doesn't matter what time are there people there, then you can easily grow, right? Um, so you can crush it. So the reason I started my social media is because I knew that attention was the greatest asset. And I found that through reading books, finding mentors. And I was like, it's going to be so, so important for me to get as much attention as I can to open my business. And the more people know you, the more impact you can have. Simple as that. So that's what got me to start my social media. And I guess the hardest thing would be to, I never really cared about judgment. So that's not really hard. I know it's really hard for other people. Um, the hard thing is like just organizing yourself, staying organized, and then focusing in on what's going to be needle moving, what's going to be important for you in school as well. Like focusing on what you want out of school instead of trying to like appease all your classmates as well. And like if they want to go out on the weekend, every weekend, you're like, oh, I'd rather stay back and work on my business. I'd rather stay back and do something else. Then don't be afraid to do that. That's like one of the hard things for people too. That's a really good question. Did I answer it?
Yeah, you did. I also wanted to ask you a little bit about like working with athletes, especially professional athletes. Was that all done through your social media platform, or did you know some of these guys before you
Mm-hmm.
started working with them?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So I played football as well. I played um, football, and then I had a few connections to that. And then once I work with one of the guys that I know, it spreads. Like then it's like okay, then someone else is in your town, then you can message them, and then you're social proof. So like when you have the social proof, I can DM any of those guys, and they'll most likely message back. Some of them, so you can find like new people to message like as well, and then you can ask like a friend to connect you with a friend. Like, hey, I'm in Chicago. Do you have any homies on the Bears that I can connect with? He was, oh, my boy's over there. He'll text him, and then we'll link up and then do a session, and that's how you do it as well. Um, but yeah, that's how it works. And then with patients, they find me through social media. They find me through word of mouth, which is like the number one thing. 1/3 of our patients are through word of mouth, which is super, super important. Do a good job, and people will find you. Anyone else? Anyone shy to ask a question? I think I heard someone.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, there you are. Yes, Lauren.
If you could do anything differently, what would you do?
If I could do anything differently, honestly, I started my business, I think, in the first year, beginning of second year, one of those two. I would have simply started earlier. I would have simply went harder, knowing that the harder I go then, I would be even bigger to this day, if that makes sense. Like I was kind of guessing my way, like, okay, I think I see something, but I would honestly just start now and go even harder. So honestly, do more of what I was doing because it worked. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Of course. Anyone else? I know you guys have questions. Don't be shy.
I was wondering, after you graduated, how long did it take you to have some self-confidence in your skills or to start your own like business?
That's a really good question. So that's one of the things that I was like, shoot, I know I'm good at business. I know I'm good at marketing. I know I can get people in the door. But like, am I going to be a good PT? So I said, let's do it. So I opened up, started seeing patients, and I was like, whoa, I know more than I thought I know. Like, it's super simple. He's coming to me with this pain, and I'm like, oh, I can fix that. Start working through, and people were getting faster results than I did as a student. Because guess what wasn't over my head? Insurance, third-party payers. So I was actually able to focus on that, not documentation and all the other stuff, worrying about if I do this for 8 minutes, do that for 8 minutes, how many units is that? I was able to just focus on what the problem was and get to the root cause and the foundation no matter what I needed to do instead of trying to appease a third-party payer. And I got fast results, and I was like, whoa. I'm so glad that I didn't take the advice of others of going to get experience for 5 years and then starting your business, because you'll get comfortable in that and you'll end up not starting because you're going to get comfortable being there for 5 years and you won't want to take a risk in 5 years. So all of you know more than you think you do. I know in school it feels like you don't because your CIs and stuff are watching and they're like over your shoulder and you have to make sure you do the GONI right or do the dynamometer or MMT or like, you know what I mean? That little stuff you won't have if you do cash base as well, which is what I am. I don't even use a goni. Like I have a goni in the clinic. I haven't used it once. And patients are getting better in like 4 sessions. You don't have to do that when you're not working for insurance. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It's like, what are your goals? I want to be able to lift 30 pounds over my head pain free. Cool, we can do that. I don't need to take out a goni and do all the other stuff. That's actually just wasting time. So without over my head, I was able to focus my 45 to 60 minute session on exactly what they needed, and you get fast results. Does that make sense? So I saw a message pop up, and it was like a AI feed.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Of course. And I guarantee you, if I can do that part, all of you can as well. I wasn't top of the class. I didn't graduate valedictorian. I don't know my number because I didn't really care, but I guarantee I was not at the top. I tell you that. So like, it's not about that either. Like, it's a different correlation between grades and being able to get results. Like that, I'll be honest with you guys, that has no correlation to you being a good PT. Can you communicate? Communication skills is what I see a lot of like physical therapists, smart people, doctors lack, which is communication. So get your communication skills, and then your patient like bedside stuff right. I guarantee you're gonna surprise yourself as I did. I was like, whoa, I'm that guy. They're getting better faster. I was like nervous about that. I was like, shoot, do I need to hire a PT like right away to like mentor me? Like you're working for me and you're mentoring me. But no, you'd be surprised. But I would definitely focus on the communication skills as well. How many of you heard of How to Win Friends and Influence People?
No.
Really good book. Check that book out, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's literally teaching people, it's teaching how to make people like you, teaching how to like have people gravitate toward you. It's really good. So get really good at your charismatic skills, you being able to communicate with people. That's all you need to do. If you can effectively communicate, you can go so far. It's not about your grades. People don't care about your grades. Even employers.
Well,
Employers don't care about your grades. Like we needed to know our grades to get into PT school. Once you're in the PT school, your grade, I'll be honest, your grades don't matter. Like,
hey,
it doesn't matter. You just need to pass and have that degree. Because people are hiring to say, are you a licensed PT? Yes. Are you licensed in the state? Yes. Can you be hired? Yes. They're never going to say, well, what were your grades in school? It's like, no, you're a licensed PT. Like, come on, let's do this. And then what's going to set you apart more than grades is your communication skills. Hey, when you're in that interview, you can sit there and look confidently like, hey, here's what I'm going to bring to the clinic. Not only am I going to be really good learning and a good patient care doctor, but I'm going to bring leadership to the clinic. I'm going to be able to bring effective communication to the clinic. I have ideas to the clinic. I understand how the clinic and business works. I understand that what I need to do is drive revenue to the business, and that's how I'm going to increase my salary. I'm a good asset to have on your team. Man, you come say that to me, I'm like, you're hired. You go say that to an employer, they're going to be so impressed with you as a new grad. They're going to be like, okay. And then you just stand strong and negotiate your salary. Like, I know my worth. Like, I'm going to bring this to the team. That's how you can make more money. Now, I had all A's. Can you pay me more? I actually don't care about that. Like, it's like, can you communicate and bring more revenue to the clinic? So definitely start working on your soft skills. So we all have hard skills, which is like the school. Work on your soft skills. Being able to communicate with people, being able to look them in the eye, being able to know your value, know your worth, be able to speak directly to people. That type of stuff, if you work on that, I guarantee you, you will surpass so many other new grads that are not focused on that. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Got some
What was the hardest part about starting your own business?
Hardest part, I guess what Camille asked, which is like just making sure that I was that I have enough skills as a DPT to service all the people that I knew I can get in the door. Like, I want to be the best at what I do, so I was like, shoot, I know I'm going to get people in the door due to my marketing, but do I actually know what I'm doing? Like, reality is I'm a new grad. But then after a couple people, I was like, whoa, I know so much, and like, we're getting fast results because I don't have someone over my shoulder. And I was like, sweet. And that was the biggest thing, but I got over that real fast. That was the hardest part. The other part was, I mean, the risks and all that stuff. Like, I knew it was going to be a risk, but I knew I could always go and find another job. Like, that's the thing. You all can go find a job. If OTB, my brain ended tomorrow, I guarantee you I can go find another job somewhere and be paid pretty well for another clinic. So like once you get over like the fact that you're like, okay, if I fail, then what? Oh, I'm not scared of that, to go just get a job like I was gonna do anyway. Then you do it. Like you start. Like, and you'll never know the alternative. And all of us are like young right now, so right now is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Really good questions. I could take a couple more as well.
Do you feel like having a cash-based business has limited your clientele, or do you feel like it's expanded it more?
Expanded it. Yeah, definitely not limited. So I always tell people, patients, unlike they're conditioning us in physical therapy school, patients don't pay you for your time. Get out of like the time for money mindset. They pay you for the value. If I can help you fix your shoulder that you've been dealing with for the last 2 years, you haven't been able to pick your grandkids up. You haven't been able to lift the boxes at work. It's affecting you at work now. It's affecting you while you sleep. You're not getting good sleep. Like, how much would that be worth to you? Like, if I was able to fix that problem, you've been dealing with it for 2 years. You've seen this, you've done that. Like, how much is that? Oh man, I would pay whatever to get this taken care of. That's the value that you provide. So then you're not exchanging your time for money. You're exchanging your time for value, if that makes sense. Like, our sessions are $300 a session. Sounds crazy to some PTs. I have a couple of friends that charge more than that. You're paying for the value, not my time. Does that make sense? So it's actually way better. Even my doc right now, he's seeing patients at the clinic. He's not burned out every day. He's not seeing 1 million patients a day. He's able to work one-on-one. He doesn't have his laptop out ever. He doesn't have to document and worry about all that stuff. He can give the patient exactly what they need. He doesn't have to worry about billing units or any of that stuff. So it's like a win-win for everybody, and they get fast results. And if you do a good job, people will pay the money. People have the money. If you allow them to see your value, people have the money. Even in a small town. I'm in a small town. They have the money. It's just a matter of if you allow them to see the value.
Recording stopped.
Is there like a way that if like a patient comes to you cash based and they still have insurance, can they like submit like a claim or something to their insurance to get reimbursed?
Yeah, they can. Those are called super bills. They can definitely do that. We don't deal with any of that really. We don't have that many people ask either. It's just, I might as well take insurance. Like, because it's going to be a headache, because then you have to dish it up into billing units and stuff, and ours isn't set up like that. So it's like, I can give you the receipt, and you can work with your insurance. Like, they can try to get reimbursement, but I'm not fighting with a third-party payer that wasn't even in our session, arguing with me if they should pay me for what I did or not. You know what I mean? So, like, and I heard insurance companies, they pay you 6 months later. They pay you when they want to. Like, if I charge $300, insurance might reimburse me $80, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I didn't open my own business for someone else to tell me my worth, if that makes sense. So you definitely can do super bills, though. And there's software for that, too, where you can help them with that. But honestly, if you do a good job, they won't even ask. Like, they'll notice the difference, the consultation that you do. They'll notice the difference between you and an insurance-based model and be like, wow, that makes sense. Yes, I'm willing to pay cash for that. Like, that makes sense. You're way different. So if you allow your patients to notice how different you are, you'll be more than gold. Does that make sense? Seriously though, if you guys want more like details about that mentorship too, DM me the words mentorship. I'll put you in there. I have like breakdowns of this detail more than I could do now. Like how you can provide that value and how you can sell your patients into your plan of care as well and allow them to see the value in you. It's all the same. But that's in my group as well. And then I have a breakdown video too, like step by step on how as a PT student I made 12.4K a month, like literally down to the details of like the DMs, my DM script, my pricing structure, everything is in that video. Like it's all given away. So definitely check that out. Because you can start that like today. Really good question, Alex.
Because you are more of a cash-based business, how often do you use modalities with patients? And like, I know a lot of times it's more difficult to get those that approved and reimbursed through insurance. So as a cash-based business, do you tend to use that more?
Yeah, we do a lot of manual therapy. I believe in manual therapy like crazy, especially when I'm seeing active individuals. people oftentimes like aren't weak. Like some people, it depends on what patient setting you're working in. We work with a lot of active individuals, so like people aren't weak. I got some strong people come. Some of my NFL guys aren't weak. They need help with their neuromuscular control, and then they have a lot of adhesions and myofascial trigger points that we need to work through. So we do a lot of manual. We do dry needling. We do cupping. Those are our main three: manual, dry needling, and cupping. And then we do specific exercises as well, just like working on like neuromuscular control and stuff like that. But they're not weak. So me just having them do a bodybuilding workout, 3 sets of whatever of some random exercise, and turn my back to them is not beneficial. So we do a lot of manual, and there's healing in touch. I truly believe that. There's so much healing in touch. So yeah, we don't worry about that. Really good question.
Do you think you're less burnt out because you own your own practice and have like your freedom, or do you think it's because you got to, since you have your own practice, you get to choose your clientele and like fine tune it to what you're super passionate about?
That's a good question. Both. So 3. So I feel like they say, how much did you charge? Charge as much as you can that somebody's willing to pay, which we're going up on our prices, but like charge as much as you can that you feel happy receiving to spend your time. Because guess what? Money is unlimited. Your time is not. Your time is a finite resource. You can't make more of the time. We're all getting older by the day. Money is infinite. Money grows on trees. They tell you it doesn't. Money grows on trees. There's more money in the world than there is time. So use your money for time, not your time for money. Does that make sense? So that's one. We feel happy with what we're being compensated. Then also, we're not required to work with everyone who walks to the door. It's like a mutual contract. It's a mutual agreement. Like, so we get to work and solidify who we want to work with. Like, if we're not a good fit, hey, we'll reimburse you all your money. Shake hands, go out the door. We don't have to work together. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to work together. So, and then also we're not having a huge patient load and all of that stuff as well, which helps with burnout. So, yeah. Really good question.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Lauren, you have another? I see your pop up.
Yes, I was curious, what certifications would you recommend getting as a new grad?
That's contextual. Do you like opening your own business or going to work for someone?
Either.
So it also has to be contextual what stating, but I would say, so I always tell people, if you want to work for yourself, you don't need certifications. Certifications only is impressive to other physical therapists. All the fancy letters after your name, none of my patients know any of that. They barely know what a DPT is. They don't even know what that is. So they don't know what a CSCS is. They don't know what all the other fancy letters. Guess who knows what those letters are for? Other physical therapists. Are other physical therapists your clientele, your market? So who are you really impressing? So if you're working for someone else, oftentimes too, you get all those certifications, you don't get paid any more than someone who doesn't have them. So like, so for example, like I have read like a lot of the CSCS book. I do find the resources so I can learn the information, but I don't get the information to get the certification, if that makes sense. Like I don't need to be Graston certified. My patients don't know what a Graston tool is or what Graston is. It's like, let me learn the information and not so I can do it and know what I'm talking about. But so if you're working for yourself, you don't have to worry about that. If you're working for someone else and you want to like be put in a leadership position or move in the company faster, you would have to ask them what certifications they would want. But like everybody, a lot of people want to do sports. So then you have to do something to separate yourself so that you can be the sports person at that clinic. Because if someone has a CSCS I interviewed and then you don't, if I was a clinic owner of that, I would probably go with the person with the CSCS, even if you have more experience, like just because they have that title or certification. So those are my 2 different ways that I would look at it, if depending on what you want to do. And also what I said in here too, like I only speak in context of what I know, which is entrepreneurship and business. All of you don't have to go run your own business. I have people who work with me as well that never want to open their own business, but you can find someone that you can partner with and you understand business that you can take it to the sky and earn as much as you would like to. I just don't want any of you having like a salary cap on yourself. You don't have to be entrepreneurs, but I'm speaking to those who do want to be entrepreneurs and letting you know and giving you the path to do so, if that makes sense. So there's so many ways that you can grow in the profession, not being an entrepreneur, but I only speak to what I know, which is entrepreneurship. So you can trust the words that's coming out of my mouth. I won't speak to anything else. So I've never been an employee, so I don't know. But coming from like someone who's hired people, like that's not what you would think about. And people in my masterminds who are also hiring people, no one ever mentions grades. They're like, they couldn't care. I appreciate you guys. What'd you say?
When you first started out, like I understand that like you had to take care of the marketing aspect of it as well as the therapy aspect. Did you also take care of the financial aspect and the administration, all those factors?
Yeah,
I kind of like hire like someone else to do it for you in the beginning.
Yeah, so I did all of it. I did all of it, and then I started to like literally, so you buy back your time. So in school, I did all of it. Then I started making significant money. And I was like, I need help. I need to study. I need to just pass. So then I hired a virtual assistant full time that helped me with like all the little tasks, like editing videos, communicating sometimes with patients, looking at my email. So then I could just focus on school. And then I was like, shoot, now I have so many Instagram DMs and messages. I need someone helping me filter through these messages. It's making me feel like I have so many messages I can't get back to them. So I hired someone to help me in my DMs, to get stuff to me that I need to see and get rid of stuff that I don't need to see. And then I graduated. And then after that, I think my next hire was, what would it have been? A videographer. So I kind of just like replaced myself in, okay, I'm spending a lot of time setting up tripods and doing that type of stuff. So I was like, let me hire a videographer so now I can just focus on working with patients and he can get all the shots that he needs to get. Sweet. Hired a virtual editor. Then I hired a full-time physical therapist. But before the physical therapist, I hired an assistant as well, who helps me with my scheduling and all that type of stuff. So you literally just buy back the time. Where are you spending your most time so you can focus? And now my job is visionary, like focus on building up leaders in my team, focus on learning, focus on getting the next step, focus on investing in mentors, focusing on content. I call it top of the funnel, marketing pieces, marketing locally. I go speak locally as well to different gyms and stuff like that too to get patients in the door. My job is to make everyone know who we are locally. So you just kind of build yourself out of, like you build yourself backwards. It usually goes in fulfillment, being a physical therapist, sales, selling people in, and then to marketing, and then out. So you work yourself backwards. That's a really good question though. Like simply buy back your time by investing and hiring other people to help you with that. So now essentially I'm actually working like 400 hours a week through other people as well that I could never do myself. Again, like I said earlier, if you can build your dream alone, then you're not dreaming big enough. I appreciate you guys. Last minute too, take a video, take a photo of the screen, tag me on Instagram. I would love to repost all of you too. And then message me any questions as well. I know some of you might not have wanted to ask publicly, but DM me any questions you have. I appreciate you guys so much for listening and having me on, and I would love to come back and service you guys in any way that I can.
Dr. Miller, thank you so much again for doing this.
Of course.
I hope that you and I can talk in the future. But yeah, I super appreciate this. I think this was super informative, especially for everyone here. I think you kind of talked about like trying to debunk the small town thing, but I think that is something that's kind of real for some of us. Is we're like, oh, we can't do that. We can't get on social media. Like we can't brand ourselves. So this was super cool. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, there's 8 billion people in the world. Don't focus on the people in your town. There's people in other countries like UK that pay. It's crazy. People like UK or Australia that pay me money. Don't think about the people in your town. More people outside of your town is going to pay you more than the people in your town. Just remember that. So I appreciate you guys so much. Have the best day ever, and message me if you have any questions. See you guys later.
Thanks again.
Thank you.